Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is April the 3rd and I am here to give you an update for my stitching today. I was working on not only prompts for my cross sticks, but I decided to get started on this WIPGO board today. I didn't want to wait any longer for my new start. So I pulled it out today. This is Thankful Quaker. And my goal for WIPGO, if you recall, is I said I was going to do the left and top border. So here is the border. It says, "Come, ye thankful people, come." And it's enclosed in a little box looking border. So I needed 300 stitches for my prompt today. And I needed to get the whole border done for WIPGO, which I knew I wasn't going to get in one day. But I got a good start on it. So I actually got 316 stitches today. That seems to be a common number. That must be how many stitches I can get in in the strand, this length of strands that I pull off my threads, because I always just run my thread out and I keep getting that 316. So I think that's about what I can get. Anyway, I've got the whole box for those words all already established. So I'm excited about that. So the next time I pick this up, I'll stitch in the words, and if I can get those done in a single stitching session, I'll have my WIPGO goal met. But again, this is on Q-snaps, which means if I don't touch it before I go, this one can go traveling with me as well. So pretty happy about that new start. I have some happy mail to share with you. I have a friend who is a Flosstuber I met at StitchCon in 2019. Her name is Kris, and Kris with a K, and her Flosstube channel is KraftnKris. That's K-R-A-F-T N, just the letter N, Kris, K-R-I-S, all one word, and I'll put it in the drop box below in the description box. But Kris not only stitches, she does other crafts as well, and she'll share those with you at times on her channel. And one of those crafts that she's really, really good at is sewing. And she has been retired recently, probably in the last year, I would think. And she has a shop, an Etsy shop, and she makes project bags. And she tries to do things that are unique and meet unique needs. She has a project portfolio that has 2 project bags that you pull together with a handle, so that if you're going to a retreat, you can take 2 projects together in one bag, and yet all of their items can be contained separately. Really neat idea. Anyway, recently on one of her latest videos, I was watching and she showed some bags, and she combined her love of quilting with her bag making, and she came up with a beautiful bag that had a quilted pattern to it, the little really small squares, and she did something unique with it. She made that the inside of the bag that you can see through the vinyl, but because you cover that up with your project pattern and fabrics and stuff and you don't get to see it, she put it on the back of the bag as well. And I fell in love with it. So I was ready to go to her shop and order it, even though she's in Canada and the shipping can be a little bit steep when you aren't in Canada. It was worth it to me. I really, really liked the bag and I wanted to buy it. And so at the end of her video, she said, "I'm putting my shop on holiday mode because I'm going to be going to a retreat. And I've been sewing like crazy." She said, "I'm taking all my bags with me to sell at the retreat." And then she said, you know, her shop will be on holiday mode for a couple of weeks while she sews up her next batch of bags, because she doesn't want to have her shop open and have nothing to show you. Well, that meant two things. I couldn't go buy the bag right then because the shop was on holiday. And second, I just knew good and well if she took that with her, it was going to sell at the retreat because it was just that cute. So imagine my surprise when I got Happy Mail this week, and inside the Happy Mail was the bag I fell in love with. I had shared with Kris how much I liked it because my intention was to go right online and buy it. And she picked up on that, I guess. And bless her, I tell you what, Kris, you're awesome. I don't deserve it. You are just such a sweet lady. She sent me this bag. This is the beautiful quilting that I mentioned that you can see from through the vinyl, you know, that you can also see on the back. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, it's gorgeous. And Kris has a puppy and I have a puppy, and we talk about that sometimes. So here's the zipper pull. So cute. I just love it. But that wasn't all. In addition to that bag, inside that bag was another bag. A Notions bag. And I've opened it because I want to show you the inside of it, of course. But look at this. Isn't that beautiful? And I even love the fact that there is, you know, this border at the top, the trim at the top, and the zipper pull on that is that matching little dog button. But the reason I kept it open, in addition to wanting to show you the lining of it, is this was inside it. Another goodie. This is a combination. It is a cozy, or a little pad for your coaster, for, I couldn't think of the word, for your coffee cup or hot tea or hot chocolate or just whatever you're drinking right here. It's quilted. And then this is the felt that you can pre-thread your needles, you know, and just wind them in a little circle right here or stick them in, but it'll hold your thread there, or you can collect orts. I have a little ort collector, so what I'm planning on doing with mine is pre-threading a few needles and having them here ready so I don't have to stop and thread needles. And she even made me a covered button needle minder. There's the other side of the magnet. So I can take it off of here if I want to and put it on my project, but I kind of like it right here because if I'm going to pre-thread my needles, I could also just touch them on there and it would hold it. So this was inside my little Notions pouch when I opened it. Big surprise. And this Notions pouch, of course, was inside the bag when I got it. Wow. Kris, you're amazing. So I want to give you her shop. She and I have talked just this evening. She knows I asked her permission if I could direct you guys to her shop. And she said it'll be on holiday mode for a couple of weeks. But if you go to her shop and it's still on holiday mode, just give it a few days. Check back every 3 days or so. Her shop's name is KraftnKrisKreations with all K's, and again I will put it down in the drop box below so you can see it and know that you're spelling it correctly when you go to look for it. Go shopping. I think you'll love it. Anyway, so that's my my update today. It's the 3rd of April. It's a Sunday. It's been a wonderful day today, and it's a little after 10, and so now I'm gonna head to bed with Coco and get some sleep, get ready for my day tomorrow. And I hope that you have a wonderful week next week. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi everyone, good morning. It's April the 4th and I'm here to give you a bit of an update, a WIPGO update. Yesterday on the 3rd, I started a new project, Thankful Quaker by Bent Creek. And I'm really excited that this one got called to be started because in the Sunshine Stitchers focus on a designer, Bent Creek is one coming down the road, and I didn't have any Bent Creeks at the time when I saw the list, and I wasn't sure this would be called in time, and I thought, well, I'll just have to start it anyway. And it got called for April, so that was pretty cool. This is number 10 on the WIPGO board. This was my number 10 for WIPGO, and 10 was one of the numbers for April. And my WIPGO goal was to stitch this border and this border all the way around. And I was able to kind of squeeze this in as a prompt. And yesterday I was working on the new start in order to meet the prompt, was 300 stitches. And I showed you where I had done this little box that goes around the border there, the light golden brown box border. And I got that done yesterday, and I got ready to put this away, and I thought, you know what? Letters go pretty quick. I'm just going to see how much I can get done today, and then tomorrow I could probably finish this up and hit a WIPGO goal. Well, I stayed up a little past my bedtime, but I got it done. So here's mine. Come, ye thankful people, come. The biggest difference I will share with you is these are called for Gentle Arts threads, and they're variegated. So this come, ye people come, shows a beautiful variegation. The word thankful is in a different color anyway, but you can really see to the naked eye. You may not be able to see it on camera, but there's quite a bit of variegation in those letters with the overdyes. But I'm using DMC, so mine aren't quite as variegated, but they're still quite pretty. I'm doing Stitch from Stash this year, and one of the things that I do whenever I can is I use overdyes if I have them in my stash, and if there's a DMC conversion and I don't have the overdye, I try to use the DMC unless it's really going to change the outcome of the project. And that's a way that I help myself in Stitch from Stash. So this met my WIPGO goal. I have completed block number 10. You can't see it, the camera's not that far over, but I'm excited, very excited. So now, believe it or not, I only have one WIPGO project that's been called that isn't finished, and that's the angel in Nativity, which, you know, we've talked about before, is going to take me probably all year to do. So that's exciting. I can put that away. I didn't film it last night because, as I said, it was past my bedtime. It was late, and I was ready to get to bed. So forgive me for being a day late, but I wanted to share that with you, that I hit my WIPGO goal. So today I am going to do two major things. I'm going shopping to get some bedding for the new bed in our guest room, and probably have lunch with my hubby while we're out. And then this afternoon, I have to clean up my craft room. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I've got little groups of things that I've been working on in different places, where I was, you know, teaching my husband how to use his new sewing machine. He wants to do some alterations and repair on his hiking equipment, and so we bought a separate sewing machine so he wouldn't tear up my really nice sewing machine that I use for finishing and things. And so he had been learning how to use it sitting over here where I could just talk with him and help him, and now he thinks he's ready to move it into his workspace, his shop. And so I've got to get that downstairs. But while we were working on all that, it's been over on that little table, and that table's been kind of a mess now. So ready to get that cleaned up. And then I've been, as I was doing finishing, I had all my finishing supplies in my finishing station, and I've got about half of those put away, and I'm looking over there, and there's a little pile of things, and I'm not a neat freak, but I stitch better, and I enjoy my stitching more when things are put away and I don't feel like I need to get up and do something. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna get that done today, and then I'm gonna tackle another prompt. I don't even know what yet. I haven't decided. So that's exciting. I will be able to come back hopefully later this evening and share that with you. Tonight I have a Zoom stitching and I'm excited about it. We try to stitch every Monday night. It's a group that met up at the Reflections and Framing retreat that Julie McConnell sponsored last year, and so pretty excited about seeing everybody again. And we don't all make it every time, but we try to, and I would like to see everyone again. So what a great day. I hope you're having a great day, a good way to start your week, and I will come back and talk with you again soon. Happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everyone. It is April the 4th. It's Monday night, and I wanted to come and give you an update on my stitching today. I have quite an interesting day today. I looked at my prompts, my list of prompts, and I realized that in 3 of my Facebook groups, I could use one of my whips to meet a prompt. I could stitch on it one time and hit 3 prompts as long as I did a minimum of 300 stitches. And so I pulled out that whip, which was Dogwood Lace by Rosewood Manor, and I'll remind you what it looks like. And the first, I started stitching on it for that prompt, and I stitched 340 stitches on it, and took a picture and posted it. And then I thought, well, this is also one of my 3 that I have to work on for my animal adventures. Now, one of those 3 Facebook groups that I had just posted this in for my 340 stitches is the same Facebook group that I do the animal adventures for, and I can't double dip. So I had to stitch another either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 500 stitches, and I like to do 300 if I can. There are benefits to doing that. So I did another 373 stitches until my thread ran out. And so I want to show you what my progress for both of the prompts finally turned out to be at the end of the evening here. If you're doing the math, and because of math, Stephanie will do the math, it's 713 stitches for today. So here is my Dogwood Lace. So if you've been watching, you know that I had added in the H. I had stitched on this side last time and kind of brought it even almost with the left side. So I rolled this up on my Q-snap and this time I came over here and I finished the bottom portion of this. It was kind of open like that because this is where the page break is. But I went ahead and finished that little piece there and counted off of it and did this little twig with the berries, and then I went off of that for the flowers, and I filled up that space. There's another branch, just a small branch with 3 little berries on it, kind of like this, that will go down in here. But once I do that, I'll have that whole column on that side finished. So the next time I work on this, I could actually finish this little section right in here and maybe get this section done and have this whole quadrant finished. That would be awesome. Anyway, you notice this is on a Q-snap, and I did say it was one of the ones I need for my animal adventures, and I have to find 8 animals, and this was my first one. So I'll have to pull this out a whole lot more this month, and that'll be good because then I'll get a good deal of progress on it. But I just think it looks so pretty. It looks so vibrant with the colors. Trying to get far enough back for you to see the whole thing, but close enough so that you can see it clearly. I think it's very pretty. So pretty. Really am enjoying it. I love stitching the monochromatic. It's so easy. And I was going to have a Zoom stitching meetup tonight, and that's why I picked this today, because I have several of my prompts that I can do that way, you know, stitch one time and hit 3 prompts with them. But I thought this one would be good for, you know, doing a stitching, virtual stitching with. As it turned out though, one of the 4 of us was ill, not feeling well. A second one had a really long day at work today and just needed to come home and go to, I think, get some rest. And so there was only going to be 2 of us. And when my buddy, my friend Donna, found out that we were trying to do some furniture moving and get my guest room set up now that my son is out of it, and that we have to finish packing up the things he couldn't get to fit in his apartment out of that room, she said, "Oh, maybe you need to do that and we'll Zoom another time." And I said, "Okay, I'll take you up on that tonight." So instead, I did a bit of work on getting that room ready, and we'll finish it up hopefully tomorrow. But I did get to stitch. I did get to stitch a while, so that worked out really well. So that's my stitching progress for today. Now I have a little bit of news to share with you. That wasn't the first WIP I chose to work on this morning. I had thought that I was going to work on another one instead for my first prompt of the day and do 300 stitches on it, and then go to something else. And I pulled it out and I got ready and I started stitching. I had stitched the top portion of the border that was the images, the strawberries. It has a strawberry border. And then I went to do the line above it that's just a straight row of stitches, and I thought, this is perfect. I can do this all the way around, get my 300 stitches. It wasn't lined up correctly. I was off 1/2 of a thread, and it was too high on just half of that top border. I had to frog out a whole half of the border, which I did. And then I started looking at it, and I started really thinking about it, and I said, you know what? I haven't wanted to stitch on this since I started it. I've only stitched on it once since I started it for a prompt, and I didn't really want to even stitch on it today. I was making myself do it because it was on a scroll frame and a scroll rod, and I didn't want to take it with me on the trip, and I wanted to go ahead and hit that prompt. So I really had a heart-to-heart with myself, and I decided, as much as I like it, I like the look of it, I'm not enjoying stitching it. There's too much in my stash that I want to stitch. So since I had only done the border across the top, and now I had to rip out half of it again, I decided that was when I should stop. I just wasn't excited about it. So it was Miracle of Every Single Day. I still think it's a lovely piece, but I'm not going to be stitching it right now. So I have UFO'd this. I have already taken the fabric and put it back in my stash to be used for something else. And I have torn up my project card, and it's not a part of my active WIPs anymore. So you won't be seeing that again. But then I had to go back into 2 of my Facebook groups where I had used that for a prompt. It might have been all 3. I think it was all 3. I had used it for an M in 2 of them, and I forget what I had used it for in the third one. But I had to substitute something for it. So of course, you know, M stands for Mermaid. So I'm going to be doing my Mermaid piece where I was doing Miracle of Every Single Day. So that worked out okay. I could substitute them without too much trouble. So that worked out. And I must say, my spirits lifted quite a bit when I did that. I knew it was the right thing to do because I felt so good afterwards. It was like, sort of like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. I love that piece. I couldn't wait to start it. I just wasn't enjoying stitching it. So, not gonna do it. And we'll move on. Then I have another piece of news for you today. I had shared with you a while back that a friend asked me to cross stitch a huge quilt top that was stamped cross stitch, Raggedy Ann and Andy. And I have also shown you the threads that I had separated from the kit. There's a lot of them. And I have got them on floss drops. And I was reading the kit instructions because I hadn't done a Bucilla before. And it said that these threads are not color fast. And so I did research on YouTube, and one of the best recommendations I heard was from Jean Farish, and it was to put them in a container of water with one of those color catchers that you use in the laundry, and that you allow them to soak in there with it for, she said, actually for her it was about a 3-hour time frame to get most of that dye out that was going to come out. And then you put them in again with clear water and another dye catcher to color catcher until they were not bleeding anymore. Well, these are a lot of threads to have to make color fast. And it mentions, you know, you only have to do it with dark. But look at all the dark. There's almost everything in here is dark. There's a pale here and a white here and maybe that baby blue. But you have to do all of these. So I thought about it and thought about it, and I thought, well, you know, how can I do that? I went and bought the color catchers pads and thought, this is a lot of work. So I called my friend tonight and I said, I want to propose something for you. I told her what I had done as far as getting everything sorted and getting ready to get started on the kit, and finding out that it has to be soaked. And I recommended that she consider, rather than having to take the time to do all of this, would she be just as happy to allow me to purchase the DMC to do this? Was she willing to purchase the DMC instead, because it's color fast already and we could get started on it? Because I said, this is going to take a long time. This may take a year or two for me to finish. And she kind of chuckled and she said, I need to confess something to you. She said, when I told my husband that you wanted to talk to me about the threads for this project, he said to her, you need to tell Dina she doesn't have to stitch that, because she really does not enjoy stamped cross stitch. And I can't believe you asked her to do that. She's confessing this to me on the phone. And I laughed and I said, well, he's right. I said, you know I don't like to do stamped cross stitch. I'm just doing it because you asked me to. And she said, well, I have a confession to make. She said she's been talking to another friend of hers who she met through Raggedy Ann and is a collector of Raggedy Ann, and she loves stamped cross stitch. She prefers that over counted cross stitch. And so Cheryl, my friend Cheryl, said, I know if I asked her to stitch that for me, she would be happy to do so. And I said, well, Cheryl, that makes the best sense because she enjoys it and I don't. And she said, well, my husband asked me why I was torturing you, asking you to do that. I thought that was an interesting choice of words. It was her choice of words, not mine. Anyway, I am happy to report to you that my friend Cheryl has given me a reprieve and has released me from my commitment to stitch this. And instead, when we go to the beach in the near future, my husband and I will be driving right through the town where she lives. And we are going to swing by and I'm going to drop off this package of this kit so she can get it to her other friend who enjoys stitching stamped cross stitch. And I don't have to do it. It's been a red letter day today. I got rid of a project I really didn't want to do in a nice way, and I UFO'd a project that really wasn't bringing me joy. And so that was very liberating today. It was just really freed me up quite a bit. So I counted my active whips today, and I'm down to 12, which is awesome. So I will be working on another one tomorrow, hopefully for a prompt, if I get some time to do that. And I have about 2 or 3 that I'm hoping I might be able to finish at least 1 or 2 this month. And wouldn't that be fun? That would be awesome. Since I have a number of new starts on my WIPGO board, I think it's great if I could finish at least 1, maybe 2 a month, so that when I'm adding my new starts, I'm keeping my WIPs about the same. I'm not adding a whole lot to my WIP number. I am trying to get the WIP number down a little bit, and I know 12 might be very small for a lot of you, but that's because I am considering doing something very extraordinary in the month of May. How, you know, we used to do our Stitch Mania month, and although Stitch Mania isn't around anymore, I still think that May would be a good month to do something fun and exciting and different, and, you know, out of the ordinary for me. So having a lot of new starts is definitely out of the ordinary for me, but I haven't finalized those plans yet. Just thinking about it. So in planning that down the road, I've decided to go ahead and try to get at least 1 or 2 finishes this month if I can in my active WIPs, and get those things on, those numbers down just a bit. All right, I'm gonna let you get back to what you were doing, and I hope you're having a great day of stitching, and I will talk to you soon. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dana. It is April the 5th, and I'm here to give you a stitching update today. It is Tuesday. I did get to stitch with a couple of friends today. I had made arrangements to stitch with Mary and Joanne, and we like to stitch together at least once a month. And we had our morning together today, and Joanne has a new grandbaby, and she was finishing up a blanket for her grandson today. So she was crocheting. She was not cross-stitching, which was fun, and she was going at it fast. She's finishing the edging that she's going to put onto the blanket. So she's almost done, and he has just arrived, so it's perfect timing. And Mary had a wonderful story to share with us about entertaining a couple of exchange students in their home for dinner recently, and how fun that was, and all that they're doing to try to make them feel welcome in this foreign country. So we had a great conversation, and we each got a little bit of work done, and I'm excited to say that. I pulled out one of my WIPs today that's on a scroll rod, because I'm back in that mode of trying to hit all my prompts that require a WIP that's on a scroll rod, because I'll be traveling next week, and I need to just take things with me that I can keep on Q-snaps. I did this before the cruise, and it worked out really well, and so I decided to do it again today, and I did. So I pulled out Pandemic, and let me show you where it is now. I'm marching my way across into this 3rd page. I have finished the first 2 pages, and I'm almost halfway finished with this page. I got a little bit up here that's a little floral motif, but this is a big one that goes all the way down to the next page. I think it actually flows onto the next page, and then there's some, of course, here at the bottom to be done as well. But this was where I had kind of worked my way through and had done this little part here last time. So I picked back up, and I came up here, and I stitched my way down here, and it did not match up. It was not where it was supposed to be. I have no idea where I went off. This came out perfectly. I came off of this to do this. I don't know where it messed up. So I had to do a lot of looking at it today and recalculating and seeing if I could get it to fit. And I do believe that I have fudged it sufficiently. I don't think it destroyed any of the look at all. It just shortened a couple of these little points a little bit. Don't know why that seems to be crunched. I may get down here at the bottom of the page and have way too much room, but I don't know how that happened. But I'm back on track with this motif. So I'm very, very happy to be back in the I guess back in the saddle, as it were, because you know all this is going to flow together here and down below, so it's important that I correct it as soon as I can. If I could have found where the error was, I would have ripped it back and fixed it, because this is not one you want to have to keep fudging as you go, but I do believe I've corrected it. So I stitched today for 2 prompts. You know, I'm doing the animal adventures, and so I wanted to go ahead and knock out a couple of those. In order to get the optimal amount of points, you have to use every one of the 3 whips that you have declared are going to be the whips that you use for this for the year. And my other 2, Dogwood Lace and Enchanted Alphabet, are both on Q-snaps, so I can take them with me. This one I can't. This one's actually on my largest scroll rod that I own. So I decided I would go ahead and do 2 of the 8 prompts with this one. And that way, if I don't get back to it again for that adventure, it would be okay, because I will have used it at least once. But while I was working on it, you guys, when I found out I was off over here somewhere, I didn't want to stop until I had it fixed. Because can you imagine being off and knowing you're off, and then the next time you try to pick it up, figuring out what to do with it? I was afraid that would keep me from working on it. So I did fix it, and I know that you can't see it really well. Maybe you can see a little bit more now, the different designs that are in here. But they're just lovely, and I think I was able to adjust it sufficiently, and so I'll just keep looking as I go, and keep working on this page. This is my journey piece with my guild. I am to do 2 pages this year. This is the first of the 2 that's finished. This is the second of the 2, and I am about halfway there on my second one. So that means I am roughly 3/4 of the way to my guild journey piece, which I'm excited about. My friend Donna sent me a picture of her journey piece yesterday. It was a beautiful sampler on 56 count. Oh my gosh. And she just finished it. So congratulations, Donna. I'm really proud of you. Okay, that is my stitching for the day. Gonna put that away now and go work on setting up my guest room a little more, and get some more work done in there. So I have been in contact with my son this morning, and to make sure if he wanted his bookcase and books and things out of his room, because he didn't have room for them when he moved in his moving truck, and he does want them. So I know I can just pack those up and put them by the door, and he'll swing by this week and pick them up. So that'll be fine. Well, I am going to let you get back to stitching. I'm going to get back to a little bit of decorating and rearranging and getting that guest room set up for guests that I have coming at the end of the month. And in the meantime, I hope you are having a great day of stitching. I'll talk to you soon, everyone, and until then, happy stitching. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is Wednesday. It is April the 6th of 2022, and I'm here to give you a stitching update today. I have once again checked my prompts, and I decided to pull out my Crabapple tree. It's another Rosewood Manor, and I am working on this block right here. This is the next one I'm trying to complete. On my WIPGO goal, I am to complete 1 whole season, which would be the inside of this block. I'm not necessarily going to make myself complete the bottom here because I consider that a border. But everything inside those borders is what I would want to complete for my WIPGO goal. But I am actually stitching this outside border to bring it down to kind of, so I can know how to go off of there to there. And I have started working on this inner border because I consider that part of the square itself. But that's the part I want to do. So today I have actually stitched 453 stitches, and I'll show you what that looks like. I've had to roll up the piece so you can't see the top anymore, but this is the middle across here of the design, and so this is the first little border into this season. You see I've brought down the border on this side to help define where that is, and this because it was stopped about right up in there somewhere. I had this border all the way to the heart, so I've added one more of those just to help give me the double check for this inner border here, and I got that one complete. That one's completely done. This one has 2 more of these to go down the side, and then there are a few more of these to go down here before I start stitching all that on the inside. This one has not been called yet, so today my stitching was strictly for a prompt, and I needed 300 stitches, and I went ahead and did 453. I had kind of hoped to get this white border finished and that white border finished, but I got tired, so I decided I would take a break from this, maybe do some planning, maybe start getting my WIPs ready to take with me on my trip and get that all packed up because it's only a few days before we go. But the number of stitches I got I thought was substantial enough for my prompt, since I did more than was required. It was actually a prompt in 3 of my Facebook groups, 3 separate groups. So I hit 3 prompts with this one today. So another reason why I'm kind of glad that that I stitched a little extra. But I am excited because the next time I pick it up, I should easily finish this side border and this side border. And then what's on the inside is the tree with 2 little birds and a little flower in the corner, and that should be a fairly easy stitch once it's called. I should be able to finish it in the month that it's called, if not before. So I am really happy with the progress on this one, and considering that it's only April, if I could finish that within the next couple of months, then I have another half of the year available to finish out the last season. So if I finish this one at least by June, I'm gonna make it an official goal to get this one finished this year. I think that would be awesome. Pretty excited about that. So I'm gonna put this away for now, and I'm gonna go and check on my hubby and my puppy. My husband woke up not feeling well this morning, and I knew that he really felt bad when he asked me if I would take Coco for her walk instead of him, because he enjoys that as much as she does. So one of my neighbors actually saw me out walking with Coco, and she came out to get her mail, and we talked for a few minutes, and she said, how did you come to be walking Coco this morning? I'm used to seeing Tommy out here with her. And I said, well, he didn't feel well this morning, and you know if he's missing walking Coco that he's really not feeling well. So we ran to the med stop today since he's had strep throat a couple of times in this last year, and he was feeling very similar. But he doesn't have strep, and he doesn't have COVID, and he doesn't have the flu. He doesn't have a respiratory infection. So we don't know why he's feeling so poorly. His muscles are hurting, and he feels just completely zapped like he's got the flu, but he doesn't have the flu. So I just put him to bed. And little Coco has been a fabulous nurse. She has gone in there and jumped in that bed with him and cuddled with him to keep him warm, and has not left his side all day. So I need to go down there and get her moving and let her get a little walk and stretch her legs and that sort of thing, unless he feels up to doing it. Don't think he will. And then we'll go from there. But she's a good little nurse. She's very sweet. So that's my update for today, and what I have to share with you for my stitching. So I will hopefully get to come back and show you more stitching tomorrow. I'm having a chat with my sister. We postponed it from today to tomorrow due to a scheduling conflict with her. And tomorrow I'm having lunch with a friend. And so then I'll be back and be at it. Trying to get my guest room set up. So I hope to get a lot of work done on that tomorrow. Maybe in the midst of all that, a little bit of stitching. I hope you are getting a lot of stitching. I hope you're enjoying it, and I can't wait to see what you're working on in your videos or in your posts in the Facebook groups or on Instagram. So thanks for sharing, all of you that do. And until I get a chance to speak with you again, happy stitching. Hi again, I am back. It is still Wednesday, the 6th of April, and I have been stitching this evening. Our choir did not practice tonight because of the holiday coming up, and they have special services this week that we'll be singing at, so we had the night off, and that meant I didn't have to go anywhere. So I got a whole lot more stitching in than I normally would on a Wednesday. So I pulled out my winter Quaker. And the reason I pulled this one out is it is for one prompt only, and it's for an acrostic, which means if I don't have any other prompt that tells me how many stitches I need for that prompt, I just try to get at least 200 in it for my acrostic. And this was in my 24 hours of cross stitch, I believe, acrostic. So I pulled that out and I started working on it. Let me see which one it is in, just so I can tell you for sure. It is, yeah, it's in 24 hours of cross stitch. What fuels you? It's the O in the word you, and that stood for one motif, to work on one motif in winter Quaker, to at least get started on it, because the next motif that I wanted to tackle is, I think, the largest one on the whole thing. So tonight I stitched 265 stitches, and I'm going to try to get it close enough where you can see it. It is this one right here. This is the outer border of that motif, and I started at the top, came down and started back this way, and I'm really, really pleased with how much I got done on that. This is on Dwarf. It's a 28 count Picture This Plus, but it is very tight because Picture This Plus, as you know, shrinks in the dyeing process. So I would say it's probably closer to a 30 count, but I'm using the Valdani threads, the call for Valdani threads. So it is a 3-stranded floss, and you just use it just as it comes, you know, off the little ball there. But this is all one color. That's just the variegation in it. It's beautiful. And I am probably, I have 7 more of these little tiny sections to do that are going through there. It's actually surrounding what looks like a little cross. Makes the opening, the negative space, looks like a little cross. But I have 7 more of these little solid pieces to do down to that corner. And I thought about trying to get all the way to that border, but it's late and I have a very early morning tomorrow. So when I hit the end of my floss and I had well over my 200 stitches, I decided I was going to let that be it. And again, this is one of the ones that I have on a frame, and so that's good because now I don't have to worry about being able to stitch on that to meet the prompt. So it's been a good day. I've had a great day of stitching. Had worked both on my crabapple tree and on my winter Quaker. So that has been a fabulously productive day for me, which is great because tomorrow may not be one, which I have talked about already. So we'll see what I get done tomorrow, if anything. I hope you're, as I say, I hope you're enjoying your stitching, and I hope that you are having some, if you're a goal person, that you're meeting your goals. If you're doing WIPGO, that you're making progress on your WIPGO, and whatever you're stitching, I hope you're enjoying it and that it's making you happy. So until we get a chance to visit again and I get a chance to share more stitching with you, I hope you have happy stitching. Good night. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina. It is the 7th of April. It's a Thursday night and it's probably about 11 o'clock in the evening. I'm about to call it a day, but it's been a wonderful day today. I got to talk to my sister Stephanie this morning. I got to have lunch with a friend to catch up. And then I actually got to meet my son today at the bank. He needed to open an account and had to move some money around that I had been holding for him. And just another step in him getting completely independent on his own feet, which I was really proud of him for doing. And then came home and worked with my husband on getting my guest bed that I've been working on into my guest room. And so I'm hoping by tomorrow I'll have it all put together and I can take a picture and share it with you. But I didn't get to start stitching tonight until about 8 or 9 o'clock. I had stitched a little bit this morning and then the whole day's activities took place, and then I came back a little bit this evening. So that's why I'm here kind of late at 11 o'clock with my update, because I just finished a prompt. And I try to hit at least one prompt a day if I can. So that allows me to stitch around 300 stitches a day or a little more. And tonight I did 405 stitches because I was determined to finish a little part of this design, which I will share with you. So today my prompt was to stitch on something that started with an E, because it's part of my Easter time acrostic. And that's the one where it's very strict and you have to stitch on something that actually has the letter as the first letter of a word in the title of the piece, or in the designer's name, or an object in the piece. And so I needed an E, and so I did Enchanted Alphabet because that's in the title. I'll remind you what that looks like. This is Enchanted Alphabet. I'm doing mine on a beautiful variegated green fabric. And here is where I got to today. I'm going to bring it close so you can see. I added in the letter O, and I did the little girl's hand and her entire sleeve of her dress. I had mentioned that I was right there at the little girl before, and so that's what I did, the O, and I've got her sleeve in there. I've decided not to put those little flowers in until I get her whole dress done, and that way, if I have to fudge anything, it'll be the little flowers and not her dress. But that's what I'm working on. So I've started on her little sleeve, and I'm working my way up to her face and her hair. That'll be the next thing I work on. I'm pretty excited about that. Anyway, this one is on Q Snaps. So that means it's probably going with me to the beach. It is in a confetti heavy part right now. The letters were great and easy and wonderful for travel. And now I've gotten to this little girl, and it's the tedious, you know, really tight confetti heavy part. So hopefully though, when my husband takes Coco to the beach to play, I'll have a quiet time and I can pull it out and get a few stitches in it, which will be wonderful. This is one of the pieces that's in my Animal Adventures, which means I have to stitch on, I have to have 8 animals that I find, so I have to stitch for 8 prompts this month. I've done 3 so far, and this is one in which you cannot share those stitches with anything else in that Facebook group. So I tend to do it individually for those. So when I take this one with me, that's what I'll be working on for those Animal Adventures, because I've already done my acrostics with it. By making the prompt today for one Facebook group, I had to stitch 300 stitches in it. for that E. But that meant I could count it for 24 hours of cross stitch, and I could count it for my monthly magazine challenge. So that's what I did. So that was productive. glad to do that. So I'm going to say goodnight, and hopefully I'll be back tomorrow if I can to give you an update. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow, getting ready for my trip, and then I will come home and I'll be able to get some stitching in, I hope. And then when my son gets off work, we're supposed to meet at the gym, and then he's supposed to help my husband get my mattress and box springs out of the basement up into my guest room, and then I can set up that room. And then we're probably going to go to dinner together. Then I have a virtual stitching date with my friend Marissa from Canada, and I am excited because we haven't talked in a while and I've missed her. So I'm looking forward to it. So I have a great day for tomorrow. I hope you do. And I hope you're enjoying your stitching and your friends and your family. I hope you have good health and stay safe. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. It is Friday, April the 8th, and I have been stitching for a prompt today, and I got a little bit of a cheat today, so I want to share that with you. I earned a coupon in one of my Facebook groups for stitching so much last month that they gave us a credit, a coupon credit. So on any of their monthly challenges, not weekly, but monthly, you could get a credit for 200 stitches on any of the prompts. So because this one is so confetti heavy, and I'm trying to work a little bit harder on my other project by the same designer, I thought this is the one I'm going to use the credit for. So this is my Mermaid by Teresa Wentzler, and it is full coverage, and it is full of confetti, and it is beautiful, but it is very, very difficult for me to stitch. It's a hand-drawn pattern, and I have to concentrate really hard on it because, you know, it's just confetti. But I'm in the sky because I took a break from working on the border, and I wanted to do a little bit of the sky because I thought that might be a little friendlier, and it's just as confetti, so it doesn't really matter. But today, because of my coupon, to get my prompt of 300 stitches, I only had to stitch 100 in actuality. So that's what I did. So here is my Teresa Wentzler Mermaid. I'll put it in the shadow a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. There you go. This sky is what I worked on, and I only did 100 stitches, but I actually color completed 3 colors in that little corner of the sky. And so the colors start changing down here, and they change in the middle, and then they go back to these same colors. So it was kind of odd to be, I picked one I saw the most symbols for, and I did it first. And then it ran out over here, and I thought, oh, okay, well, I don't have quite enough stitches. I'll do another color. So I grabbed another color that was right near, you know, the next available color, kind of adapting Stitchin' Mommy's idea. And I stitched that one till it ran out in this area. And then I said, well, I need only 8 more stitches. So I picked one that was one of the least populated colors in that area, and I wound up getting 17 stitches out of it. But anyway, it got me to 109 stitches that I had actually worked on today. So that is the sky. It's coming along. You see it's very gray, blue-gray, lots of different colors in there to make those gray clouds. They're absolutely beautiful. But it is a labor of love. I will tell you that. It is a labor of love. So anyway, I'm trying to fold it different each time because it does lay in there a while. It's not one of the first ones I go to just because it's a little bit difficult to stitch. So I touched my Mermaid this month. I'm really pleased that I did that. And And I think making it be my 100 stitches instead of something else helped me to go ahead and get it done today, because this one, as you notice, is not on a scroll rod. It's on a Q-snap. And I could have taken it with me, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to be working that hard on vacation. So I didn't. But I'm glad I got it done before I left. So I may get to do a little more stitching today. Our son was supposed to come over and help us move the furniture a little bit and do his taxes tonight, and he got asked to stay late. So yesterday he was laid off. Tonight they asked him to stay late, and of course he did, because he wants to make up those hours. So it looks like he'll be coming over tomorrow night, which will be fine. So I'm going to leave you for now, and if I get anything else accomplished today worthy of sharing, I will definitely be back. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is Dina, and today I am on vacation. We are in St. Simons, Georgia, in a little house that we've rented. It's precious. I will put in a little clip of a tour I did as we arrived before we brought in all of our luggage and whatnot. But it's going to be our home for the week, so I'm looking forward to that. This is not my normal decor, of course, having a marlin on my wall, but I'm enjoying it very, very much. I wanted to take just a minute to talk with you because we've been here since late Monday evening. Got in just in time to unload the car and walk Coco and get everything put away. And I had pre-made some chicken salad for sandwiches, and we had that for dinner, and we didn't have to go anywhere, and we could just settle. And I got a little bit of stitching done Monday, not much. But yesterday, Coco and Tommy went to the beach and had a fabulous time. Coco met lots of new friends, and I got to stitch for several hours, which was wonderful. So off and on yesterday, I stitched when I wasn't cooking or we weren't going somewhere together. And then this morning, my husband took Coco to the beach, and I got to stitch a little bit. And now he's out touring one of the forts or the museum. I think it's the museum he wanted to go see today. And I decided to stay here with Coco. We're trying not to leave her here alone because it's not her normal home and we don't want her to mess anything up. So I decided to stay with her. And what that allowed me to do was to get a finish. So I have been stitching on this Easter piece. It's part of an Easter series called Promises of Easter Series, Time for New Beginnings. And I will tell you, that sheep is no joke. It is a lot of stitches, but I finally got it done, and I'm excited about that. I'm glad to have it finished. It's by Twin Peak Primitives. It was my first Twin Peak Primitives chart, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The chart is beautifully drawn. It's easy to read. It's nice and big. Had no problems with it whatsoever. And you may like this if you don't like back stitching. There's not a bit of back stitching in this chart at all, but it is pretty. And I'm delighted that I finished it right before Easter. I won't have it fully finished by then because I'm not home to do that. My plan, I think, was to make it into a flat fold, but I think she's kind of big for a flat fold. She's a big girl. So here she is. This is my Time for New Beginnings. I think she's lovely. I've used her for several prompts, and I just think it's really, really sweet. I think the little chick on top is cute. Such a sweet nod to Easter. Not sure about what that package is on the back of that lamb, but I jokingly said it was Easter candy for one of my prompts. But here it is, and this is on an opalescent fabric. It's quite pretty. I can't remember the actual name of it because I don't have my cards here with me, but I will put it down in the drop box below so you'll have it. And I'll try to fold it a little bit so you can see it all in frame. Anyway, I haven't even pressed it yet. It's hot off the Q-snap. I just put the last stitch in it. So I just wanted to share my new finish with you. Time for new beginnings. And if you celebrate Easter, I want to wish you a happy Easter. We will be here until the Saturday before Easter, and we will head home Saturday. We're going to meet up with some friends for dinner where we used to live, and then we're going to head on back to the house. Easter Sunday, we will be having lunch with several of friends from ours from church, and then so when I get home Saturday, I've got to get busy because I got to cook my portion that I'm going to take with me. So that'll be important to do as well. I can't do it here. I don't have it with me, and I don't want to have it travel. So I want it to be fresh. I'm having a great time. It's so laid back and quiet and restful here. So I am enjoying my time immensely, especially the time I get to stitch. So I hope you are having a great week, and I hope I get to talk with you more later in the week if I've got something to come back and show progress, and if I have some time that I can film where I'm not disturbing my husband trying to watch TV or something. So enjoy your time, and until we get a chance to talk again, happy stitching, everybody. Hi, I've just walked into our little house that we're renting for the week here in St. Simons. Here's our little dining area. There's the kitchen. Over here is the living room, and around the corner from the living room is another sitting area. I might make that my stitching spot. And then past the kitchen here is the 2 bedrooms and the bath. This is the bedroom with the queen. And this is the bedroom with the twins. And then there's the full bath. And then we are back out to the kitchen area. I think this is going to make a nice little place for the week. Just wanted to share it with you. Hi everyone, welcome back. I am still on vacation and have been stitching night and day. It's been wonderful. So I have been stitching for my animal adventures since I've been here. I have actually stitched enough on this one piece of the 3 that I have met 2 of the prompts. I've found 2 animals so far since I've been here. I think though I'm feeling a little bit of fatigue with it, and so I'm going to put it away, and I'm going to stitch on something totally different and separate and new, and then I'll probably tomorrow work on searching for another animal. I have to use my other piece that I can work on for that, which is Enchanted Alphabet. So I'll work on that either tonight if I'm feeling up to it. I'm in a confetti area. I may have to wait till I'm fresh tomorrow to do that. But I brought Thankful Quaker with me, which is a new start, and I'd love to get a little more space on it stitched, or either my April wordplay. So I have plenty to choose from, but I just want to show you where I've gotten to. I stitched a total this morning of 598 stitches, and this is what that brought me to. Yay, I finished the corner. Not only did I finish the corner, I finished the middle. This was done maybe the top portion and was kind of cut off about right here, right there. But I did both of those bottom things there and connected everything up. And then I came on down and did that little center area, and I had to rechart the 2022. It was 2010, I think, was the year that was in there, or 2012. Yeah, it was 2012, and I had to figure out a way to get the 2 in there instead of the 1. So there's supposed to be one more little red cross right here on this side and on this side that are up and over by one, like at an angle, and I left both of them out. And then I was able to center the 2022 in there. So the year's in there. I've got to finish it this year. I felt with only having one corner left and having this much of the year left that was fairly safe. I hope so. I wanted to get it done while I had it charted and in my head because I didn't want to forget what I was going to do with it. So there's the year, and that means that this entire side is completed. And so now I just have to go and replicate this big flower in this corner, and I will have completed the dogwood lace. Now, this was, 598 stitches today, but yesterday I stitched, oh goodness, probably over 1,500 stitches in it. So I've been working on this really, really consistently for the last 2 days. And I'm sure if I kept working on it today and tomorrow and possibly Friday, I could probably eke out a finish, but I'm not pushing it that hard. I think it's wise when you start feeling a little fatigued with a piece that before you get to the point where you don't want to see it anymore, that you put it away. So I am ready to put this away, and then the next time that I start stitching, I will come over here and do this part. Well, the boys are back, so I'll let you go, and I will hopefully get a chance to update you again before we leave. But in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Hi again, welcome back. This is Dina, and I am back again to give you a little bit of an update. We did have a lovely dinner tonight, and we're back home now, and Tommy and Coco have gone for their last walk of the evening. So I thought I would jump on here really quick and share the stitching with you. I decided to pull out my Thankful Quaker. It was my most recent start, and I decided I could use it for a prompt. I hadn't intended to, but I decided that for the bookmark acrostic, I could use it for K. And the K stands for Kinfolk Gathering at Thanksgiving. And this is obviously a Thanksgiving piece. So that's how I got the K in there. And I went ahead and I stitched 286 stitches in here, and decided that was good enough because I always try to do at least 200 stitches for the prompt. But this is where I got to. The last time I had just completed the words in the box. So now I have completed this motif, these three, and I've started working on this one and a little bit on this one because it's the same color. Now I've taken a different color and I'm starting to work in here, but I don't think I'll be stitching much more this evening. I think my husband and I are going to have a little bit later this evening, we're going to have a dessert, some ice cream he picked up at a local sweet store, and then we will be in for the night. So I'm going to go ahead and share my stitching with you before I put it up for the evening, and I hope you are having a great week as we are. But anyway, I hope to get more stitching in tomorrow if I can. I have promised my husband and Coco that I will go to the beach with them tomorrow because I want to see it while I'm here. And so I'll be doing that in the morning with them. So I may get some stitching tomorrow afternoon, who knows. And then Saturday we head back home. We have a long trip, and we're going to break that trip up after about the first 5 hours. We're going to stop and have dinner with friends. I'm going to give her back that Raggedy Ann project gladly. And then we'll head on back, back to the house. Hopefully in time for me to get my cooking done for Easter Sunday. So I will keep you posted on all of that. But in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It is Saturday. It is April 16th. I am home. We got home this evening, probably around 8 o'clock. It was a 10-hour day. We left St. Simons, Georgia at about 9:45, 10 o'clock this morning. And we traveled to Macon, Georgia, and we stopped for just a brief dinner with friends, or late lunch, early dinner. And then we went to the grocery store on the way home because we've been invited to share Easter lunch tomorrow with some friends. And they asked me to bring 2 dishes. They're both cold dishes, which is great. So I ran by the grocery store and got the ingredients on my way in tonight. And I got both of them fixed and in the refrigerator for tomorrow, so we're all set. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you that I have another finish from my vacation. I haven't put the buttons on yet, but I will be doing that here just in a few minutes. But I finished up my Thankful Quaker. This was a WIPGO start. And when my WIPGO goal was just the border around here for the words, "Come ye thankful people, come." That was what I wanted to do, those blocks with the words in them. And that's what I did. And then the next time I stitched on it, I stitched this one motif, and I think I may have stitched a leaf or something there, and I put it away. It was just a quick stitch to get some work done on it. So I had it with me this week, and I worked a lot on my Dogwood lace, and I've shared that already. I finished that whole quadrant, and now I have one final quadrant left on the bottom right in order to finish it. And then I decided I would pick up my next WIP that I felt I could get a good deal of work on, and but yeah, it would be small enough that I could, be interested in it. And I worked on that, and then I picked this one out. And I thought, this is an easy one to do. The pattern looks fairly easy, and I'm loving the colors. And so I picked it up, and I started working on it, and I couldn't put it down. So I worked on it for 2 very, very good stitching days. My husband and puppy were having a great time at the beach. I only have one little piece of footage of them at the beach when the tide was up kind of high, so you can see Coco running down the edge of the beach where the rocks and things were, because my husband didn't get to film any. He was so busy playing with her at the beach and letting her run and enjoying her and throwing the ball and engaging in meeting other people and letting her meet other dogs, that he really didn't have a chance to film anything. And most of the time he was at the beach with her early in the morning or late in the evening, and they would walk home almost in the dark, and I didn't like being out that early in the morning, and I didn't like being out that late in the evening. So the time that I got footage of her, we had gone to dinner and had just gotten back, and we took a nice long walk, and we went to the beach and walked through the neighborhood that we were renting the house in, and then got home right at dark. So it worked out just great. So most of those days while they were out frolicking and playing, and there were a few times he took her to a dog park, and they had a great time there as well, I had stitching time, because all I had to be responsible for was cooking 3 meals a day, and I had prepared for that. So that was easy. So here is my finish without the little 3 yellow buttons, which I will be putting on there tonight. And let me hold it in the right direction for you. Am I tired or what? Anyway, here it is. This is called Thankful Quaker. I really, really enjoy those colors. I'm tilting it a little so the light can really show you the beautiful burnt oranges, the tans, the dark brown. One of the specialty fibers that I used in here was a Weeks Dye Works Kris's Bonbon. And I had used that in another piece recently. It was the border of a piece or something. And I had just enough left. I think I had maybe one more length of the double, you know, you're supposed to use 2 for this. I had one length of the double left. And so I wasn't in danger of running out. I wasn't scared to death that I was going to run out, but I had just enough with a tiny bit of extra so that I wasn't scared. But it's in here quite a bit. It's in the turkey, and it's the dark in the turkey, and it's in quite a number of the motifs actually. This outer ring is Kris's Bonbon. There's Kris's Bonbon in here in little highlighted areas. There's some Kris's Bonbon in here. So it's used several times in the piece. So I think it's really pretty fall colors. To me, it, of course, speaks of Thanksgiving. And so I haven't ironed it. I'm sorry, it's been traveling, so it's been kind of scrunched up in the project bag. But I'm going to iron it before I put my buttons on. That's why they're not on there yet. I wanted to bring it home and press it really good and then put the 3 little tiny, tiny buttons on there. They're tiny kind of mustard yellow stars, and there's 3, and they'll go strategically on the piece where there's a little bit of room. So I am tickled with this finish. I'm really happy with it. I got a lot of stitching done while we were there. The weather was beautiful. The sun was bright and shiny, but there wasn't really anywhere for me to sit out in the sun. There was a front porch up high. You had to go outside and go up a stairway to get there, but it was covered. And so it was shaded and in the shadow, so it wasn't good stitching light, even in the daylight. And then their front porch was, it was just, you walk out the door and you're in the front yard, and within just a few feet you're in the street. And so rather than, I didn't really have anywhere out there to sit and put out my stitching things. So what I did instead is I sat at the dining room table because I could open up the big window. I could just move the blinds aside and I could see all out there in the sunlight. I could see the cars going by. I could see the dogs being walked. And Coco loved that window. When she was there and Tommy wasn't, Coco was standing in front of that window waiting for him. I have a picture of her, and so I want you to see what I saw of Coco most of the week when I was there with her alone, and I'll put that in here. Yes, she is her daddy's puppy. She was waiting for him so patiently. If he went to the store, a couple of times he just went for a little walk, you know, to run maybe a little bit. And she didn't like it when he went anywhere without her. It's so funny. And then, of course, coming home, we're trying to teach Coco to ride in the back seat of the car. She does not like riding in the back seat of the car because she grew up riding in the truck with my husband. So she sits in the passenger seat of the truck and puts her front paws on the console in the middle and leans over into my husband's cheek, really close to him, and just watches him drive. And it's not in his way, and when he tells her in her seat, she'll sit right back down. So when he gets into busy traffic, he says, "In your seat," and she sits down. But when we were traveling in my car, my husband wanted me to be able to sit up in the front seat with him. So Coco didn't have a seat. So we fixed up the back seat of the car. We put her cover on the back seat that we normally have on our couch. And so she knows that's her cover, that's where she sits. And we put that across the entire back seat. And then we put my travel suitcase, it's a crafting suitcase that I use for my cross stitch when I go to the library and things. It's on wheels. We put it right in the middle and put blankets over that, or beach towels over that, to make it flat where Coco could sit right there or stand right there, and her head was right between the two of us. So I have some footage of her, and I'll put it at the end of her riding in the car. She did really well. She kept bumping me with her head. I had my arm like this between the two seats, hanging onto the seat where my husband was sitting, to be a barrier for her when, in the beginning, when she was learning that she wasn't to come in the front seat. And she kept butting it with her head, trying to come under my arm. It was so cute. But after we told her no a few times, it didn't take that many, she understood she was to sit in the back seat. And then on the way back today, my husband said, "Why don't you lay down and take a nap?" And I laid my seat down, and the minute that I did, Coco equated that to me getting in the bed to go to sleep at night, I guess. And she crawled right on my chest and laid her whole body on top of mine. But you know what? I let her do that because Coco stood up the entire trip down and the entire trip back. And I happened to be filming her the one time that she chose to sit down in the car. And yet, the length of time that I filmed her, she popped right back up. She never sat more than a few seconds. And I know she's tired because she's laying down there now, sound asleep. Well, I've been rambling on. I'm just babbling now because I guess I'm coming down from such a wonderful trip and having such a good week with my hubby and my puppy. It was a lovely time. We will have a lovely day tomorrow. I hope you do. We celebrate Easter. It's part of our faith. And so it'll be a big day for us tomorrow. Whether you celebrate or not, I hope you have a restful, lovely day tomorrow. I hope you get some stitching in, and I hope you have a great next week. Happy stitching, everybody.
Tide is in. No beach to play on right now.
Yeah, if you, yeah, in the morning the tide will be way out. You can walk nearly all the way.
Coco riding in the back seat. This is unusual. It's hard to get her to stay there.
It's pagan myth. Let me read some of the inscriptions of the Christians, how different they were. Here lies Marcia, put to rest in the green of peace.
Good girl.
Lawrence, to your sweetest son, carried away.
She won't sit
by the
long.
angels.
About 2 seconds.
Called, he went in peace.